Hello, so today we are going to be learning about political parties. So, first, take a look at this political cartoon that we have up front. Take a note of what do you see here? Okay, so on the right, we have a donkey. See Demos here. And then on the left, we have an elephant. They're both wearing stars and stripes. That represents the United States. And then each animal is actually a symbol of our two most popular political parties. So the donkey represents Democrats, and the elephant represents Republicans. GOP, okay, that's another common way of referring to Republicans. So before we start talking about individual political parties, you need to understand what a political ideology is. So, political ideology refers to a collection of beliefs that justifies and explains a preferred governmental order of society. Political ideology tends to be based on either political, social, or economic beliefs and ideas. And you will learn about examples of each of those political, social, and economic as we move on through the unit. Next thing you need to know is political spectrum. So, the political spectrum is the range of ideologies, those political beliefs, from radical to reactionary. Now, the political spectrum consists of the left side of the spectrum, which is radicals and liberals, the center of the spectrum, and kind of think of it as like a number line, okay, are the moderates and independents. And then on the right side of the spectrum are conservatives and reactionaries. And in a little bit, you'll get to see a visual of what this political spectrum looks like. So, again, we have our moderates and independents in the center, liberals on the left. Democrats are considered liberals, which is why there's the donkey symbol. On the right, we have our conservatives. We tend to associate that with Republicans, which is why we have the elephant symbol. On the far left, so the extreme left, we have radicals. That symbol is the hammer and sickle, which we tend to associate with the Communist Party. On the far right, we have reactionaries. Okay, and you can see we have the swastika, a common Nazi symbol. Nazis and socialists would be considered to be on the reactionary side of the spectrum. So liberals, these are kind of some of their key characteristics that describes their beliefs. So liberals tend to look to the future for change and improvement in society. We often refer to this as being progressive. Okay, they're open to change. They look towards the government to help solve society's problems. They think it's the government's responsibility. They tend to think that individuals or private groups shouldn't have to take on that responsibility themselves. They usually support welfare programs. They strongly support civil liberties and freedoms. So think back to the individual rights that you studied when we looked at the Constitution and amendments. And liberals are generally associated with the Democratic Party. Conservatives, the right side of the spectrum, they think that the role of government is to conserve or protect the traditional morals, religions, and customs of the past. They're cautious about change and innovation. Doesn't mean that they're not willing to change or try new things, but they're cautious about it. And tend to use the phrase, if it worked in the past, why should we change it? They want less government involvement. They value personal responsibilities as well as traditional values. They also tend to favor more states' rights. Okay. So less federal or national government involvement and more state government. We tend to associate conservatives with the Republican Party. Radical, the extreme left. They want society to change very quickly. And they're not opposed or adverse to violence in order to achieve that change. They want to redistribute wealth and property to make society totally equal. They believe in total government. That means that the federal or national government should be in charge of everything. Okay? They want to be involved in your private and public life. An extreme example of radicals would be communist Russia. Reactionary, the extreme right. Now, similar to radicals, want society to change quickly. And again, they are also not opposed to using violence in order to achieve that change. Now, how they differ a little bit from radicals is that they want to return to a previous state in society. They're idealizing the past. They look at the past and they're like, you know what? They had it right back then. We need to go back to that and how it was. They want as little government as possible. If they could, they would have pretty much no government involvement. Okay. Extreme example is fascism. Okay. The Nazi Party was considered fascist. Italy during World War II would have been fascist as well. So little to no government involvement. These are some famous radicals and U.S. reactionaries. We have Timothy McVeigh, who was the Oklahoma City bomber. That is him over here. And then we have the Unabomber, Ted Kaczynski. Okay, he was sending bombs in the mail. So, what you're going to be doing next is you're going to be looking at the political spectrum and you're going to be figuring out where do you fall with your political ideologies on this spectrum that you've learned about these past few minutes. So, on Google Classroom, you are going to go and take the political compass test where you will answer a series of questions about your opinion on different political, social, and economic ideas. Okay, and then after taking that test, you will be able to place yourself on the spectrum.